Okay, so welcome back. In the last episode, we took our raw recording into Audacity, trimmed and mastered the mix, added idents, and exported a finished WAV and a properly tagged MP3. Now, if you haven't watched that one yet, go back and start there. This is step number 5, and we're moving into the visual side of things. We are creating the artwork and thumbnails that will present your mix across every platform that you publish on. Now, a lot of people who don't consider themselves naturally creative tend to shy away from this part of the process. And I want to address this up front. You do not need to be a design expert to create good thumbnails for your mixes. This is quick, it's affordable, and the process is more straightforward than you might expect. I'm going to show you how I do it using my tools, and you can use different tools if you prefer, but the approach will still translate regardless of what you are working with. Before you open up any software, take a moment to think about what you're creating. Is this going to be a standalone mix? Is it part of an ongoing series? Now, if it's a one-off, then you have complete creative freedom. You can make it look however you want. But if it's a series, then consistency matters. Every thumbnail should feel like it belongs to the same family. So think about it from the viewer's perspective. When someone is scrolling through YouTube or Mixcloud and they spot your artwork, you will want them to instantly recognize it as yours. That's brand recognition, and it builds over time. The way that I handle this is with a template. I have a base design that stays the same for every mix in the series, and the only thing that changes is the background image. Everything else, like the text layout, the branding, the logo, that all stays fixed. I swap the image, update the mix number, and that's it, I'm done. It's fast, it's consistent, and it gives the whole series a visual identity. Okay, now images. Keep this legal. Don't go pulling images from random Google searches and use them commercially. You will need to own the rights to whatever you publish. The source that I use is Unsplash, and you can find it at unsplash.com. They specialize in royalty-free photography, and the quality is genuinely impressive. Before you download anything, double check the individual license on each image, but for the vast majority, they are going to be free to use images without attribution. One thing that I would encourage is if you find an image that you love, consider leaving a thank you note for the photographer. Unsplash also gives you the option to make a small donation to the artist, and remember that these are fellow creatives putting their work out for free. A quick acknowledgement goes a long way. So in terms of what to look for, that's going to be entirely up to you. You could go with something pretty straightforward like a DJ mixer or a console or a piece of studio equipment. Those work absolutely fine, but I'd encourage you to think a little bit differently. For my current mix series, I lean in towards a futuristic Tron-influenced aesthetic. Kind of like neon, dystopian, high contrast. I've experimented using people, faces, objects, abstract shapes, and light-based imagery. And I kept coming back to this particular look because it feels right for the sound and the vibe of the series. Another option that works really well is a photograph of yourself DJing. Set up a tripod, get someone to take a shot, or even use a self-timer. Try to capture an action moment rather than a static pose. Something that has energy to it. That kind of image will stand out in a feed, and it will connect your face to your music. The tool that I use for creating artwork is Figma. It's a professional design application with a huge range of features, most of which you'll never need. But if you're already familiar with it, then great. If not, it might be worth exploring, and at the time of recording there is a free tier available. Use whatever image editing software that you are comfortable with, whether that's Canva, Photoshop, Affinity Designer, anything works. The logic is the same regardless of the tool. So here is my template, and it's deliberately simple. I've got a background image that fills the frame, the mix number sits prominently in the center, and then there's a line underneath that identifies it as my mix, and my logo sits at the bottom for branding. Text, a couple of shapes, and a background. Nothing complicated. I'm going to bring in the image I just downloaded from Unsplash. I'm going to drop it into the background layer, check that the layer order is correct, and then update the mix number by incrementing it by 1. Because I'm using a template setup, the whole thing just takes a couple of minutes. So here's something that trips people up. Different platforms require different image dimensions, and the same file won't work everywhere. So here's what I create for each mix. I produce a square format, and that's used for Mixcloud and SoundCloud. It's also the standard format for podcast cover art. 16 by 9 format is needed for YouTube thumbnails. So mine is currently 1600 by 900 pixels, and I've got a separate template for this in Figma. So I drop the same background image into it and get the same kind of look and feel as everything else. The Instagram post format is square or slight vertical crop, and that's intended to live permanently on your profile grid. An Instagram story format is vertical 9 by 16, and this one is particularly useful. A story is temporary, but it's a direct traffic driver. You can tease the mix, you can link directly to it, and you can reach people who might scroll past a regular post. Once you've made all of the variations and they're ready, export each one into the artwork folder inside of your mix specific directory. Now, if you remember, that's what we covered in episode 1 about keeping your folder structure clean, and this is exactly where that pays off. Everything's in one place, clearly labeled, easy to find, exactly when you need it later. So my top tip for this episode is going to be consistency. Once you've got a layout that you're happy with, make it your template. Lock in the fonts, the colors, the logo, position, everything that defines the look. The only variable going forward would be the background image. Now that one change is enough to make each mix feel fresh while still keeping the overall identity intact. It makes every future mix faster to produce, and more importantly, it makes your work instantly recognizable across every platform your audience finds you on. So that's episode 5. We've sourced a royalty-free image, built out our Figma template, and exported artwork in every format that we need. In the next episode, we are taking everything that we built so far and combining it into a video file ready to publish on YouTube. I'll see you in the next one.